From clarkwoods.com. This is horribly off topic. Episode number 94. I am Chris.
And I am Steve.
And we are 10 episodes away from our
Let's not hype it.
Second anniversary.
Let's not hype it.
Okay, I'm not hyping. It's just a fact.
Don't believe the hype, folks. It's not going to be as good as last year's.
No. It could be better.
Who knows?
Could be worse.
It's probably going to be worse.
Could be worse. Depends on what your definition of better and worse is, which I think is a thing that people should work out in their marriage vows. I'm just gonna say, like, for better or worse. What does that mean? I mean, I think it meant something to whoever first spoke that cliche.
Anything you say could be represented by
better
interpretation. So you could say anything in the world, and someone could say you're saying something else.
So in a set of marriage vows, somebody could say, "I may hate you, I may not hate you."
They could say that,
and that could be interpreted.
I mean, it's been a long time since I was at your wedding. Did you say that?
I don't believe I said that. I think that might have been in her notes that she cut. I think she trimmed down the speech a little bit. We wrote our own vows. No, for better or worse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the I may hate you, I may not hate you. I think that was in the first draft.
Okay.
With
you were writing together, so it was like that ad where like Hall & Oates are writing on Google, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, your kiss is on my list.
No, not that song. They were writing Maneater.
Oh, yeah.
You never saw that ad?
I did not see that ad.
It made an impression on me.
That's the impression that I get.
I don't like ska.
I'm not a huge. I wasn't as huge. I was not. It's a ska thing anymore. I was gonna say I don't like ska, but I guess I could say it past tense. I wasn't a big ska fan. I don't think ska exists any longer.
Well, I think it still does. There's always
in
a
like
market.
dive bars where people get paid like $5 a show.
Well, some bargain price. I got a free drink one time when I was doing comedy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
look at that.
Booker told you wrong because the Magic Man he gonna get. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Drink. I'm gonna drink. This is a Patton Oswalt bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna drink.
And I watched a documentary on road comedy this past week.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I quit when I did. I mean, it was fun doing it that one time for Becky's birthday. But holy shit, like,
yeah.
I don't think I could have, like, because you have to basically devote your life to it, and then you, especially if you're going on the road, because if you go on the road, you can't have a job.
Yeah.
And fucking
right, yeah, you gotta pretty much just as in that Oswald bit. I think in that bit, the what the hell is it? They both get shorted $5. Patton is opening for a comedy magician, and they both get shorted $5. And Patton is at that stage in his career where he needs the. I think he was supposed to get 25, and he gets 20, and he's like, I need the $20. I can't,
because like because that would mean like he might have broken even with the amount of gas or whatever else.
Yeah.
He had to spend, or like, he had to eat food too, or whatever else. And I imagine the club didn't give him any fucking food.
No, I would imagine not. Yeah, it doesn't sound. So where did you watch that? It was on the. It was
on the old Netflix.
On the old Netflix,
or what we used to refer to as
the red one.
No, we used to refer to it as video streaming service.
Video streaming service.
Because we wanted to get them to pay us ad money.
But Netflix is about as likely to sponsor us as a comedian is likely to
get paid.
Make a living wage.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're really good, you'll eventually start making money.
Right.
But like, even that, like, what was it? I'm trying to think of the national acts, the ones that can sell out a larger club or like the Wilbur Theater.
Dane Cook.
He can do. He was able to do arenas 10 years ago.
I just wanted to see what the look on your face would be.
I was actually talking about him recently, and when he came to Framingham State to
FSC,
our fair college.
Your fair college, not my fair college.
My fair college.
My fair lady.
Well, I guess you could refer to my former what do you call it?
Alma. It's not your former alma mater unless you were like Unless your degree was revoked. I think it's always your alma mater.
Okay, so my alma mater.
Alma mater.
We had Dane Cook come and perform at our school.
Yes.
And Kira, the person that did my...
Kira Knightley?
No. Kira, I'm not going to say her
Sedgwick?
last name. No. It wasn't a celebrity.
Kira Bacon?
It was a person that I knew in college.
She took her husband's name.
Motherfucker. There was a person in college whose name that was Kira, and she did my radio show with me. She is not a celebrity. She doesn't have any of those names. And I'm not going to say her last name because I don't know if she wants it fucking mentioned on this shitty podcast.
Don't disparage our shitty pod. Oh.
Damn it, Chris.
All right, so Kira, Dane Cook.
Kira and I, we DJ'd the event.
Okay.
Because I think we drew lots. And then we won, actually. And so we played some music before the show.
Yeah.
We got the crowd really into it, which I...
really into it.
We got, front row seats because we were,
Did you get the watermelon smashed on you?
Yeah.
That's Dane Cook, right?
Yeah. He does that. You know what's funny about that? Like Gallagher.
Yeah.
He had his brother doing his act for a while or something like that. But
His
then there
what-
was like a big hullabaloo over it.
Does his brother look like him?
Yeah, his brother looks just like him.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
And so
he has
like
a
there
pretty
was like
distinctive look.
there was a big issue with like Gallagher when he wanted to I don't know. I'm speaking from my ass right now, so I don't know exactly what's true.
Yeah.
But I think his brother used to do a show, but then he didn't want him to do it anymore. So Gallagher like sued his brother or something.
Oh, he was trying to do like 2 tours at once.
Yeah, maybe
was one of those
get
things?
double the cash.
Yeah.
Although if you're splitting it between 2 people, then you're getting the same amount of cash.
True. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he didn't pay his brother.
But he's promoting the brand of
Gallagher
smashing
brand.
melons. Last time I heard Gallagher, he was on Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
And he was doing like penny stock trading like in the background while he was on the radio.
While he was on the radio.
I was like, what the fuck is this lunatic doing?
That's a yeah. I mean, if comedians were paid better, maybe they wouldn't need to do.
Well, some comedians are paid very well. But still, there's club owners and whatever else that will try to fuck you.
Yeah. That is speaking of wait, hold on. I got a drink. Speaking of Patton Oswalt.
Not literally fuck you, but
Speaking of, that's one of my favorite bits from the most recent one isn't out as an album. So the most recent album, which was a few years ago, he talks about getting booked to do some casino out in who knows where in the Northwest or Midwest or something. And they pay him an obscene amount of money. And he gets up there and they're all so drunk that the entire set consists of them yelling things like "King of Queens" and him just going, "Yep, that was me," and all of them going, "Ah!" And in his description of it, he doesn't tell one joke. He's just up there for half an hour with people screaming his career at him, and he got paid more money for that than he got paid for any other gig he's ever done, and enough to pay for a semester of college for his daughter was the way that he described it.
well, that's good. Good for him.
But I mean, good
I
for
forgot
him.
I forgot where I was when I started talking about Gallagher.
Dane Cook.
Oh yeah, Dane Cook. Fucking.
Sorry.
Okay, so we were supposed to meet him before the show because we were lucky enough to be able to DJ the event and whatnot.
Right.
But he showed up late.
Yeah.
And as a result, we didn't get to meet him before the show because he got there and then was like the opener was on stage.
Yeah.
And we were, supposed to be in our seats at that point.
Right. Yep.
And the opener, I forget what the freaking guy's name was. Jay Davis, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
He was all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to disparage him too much. His material was kind of hacky, but not.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of. I mean, which is why
Why you're the opener.
Why you're the opener. You're not the headliner that's going to talk about punching a shark in the face or whatever other things that Dane Cook had talked about in a loud voice.
In a loud.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
And after the show, so they're like, "Don't worry, you'll get to meet him right after the show."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Okay." So right after the show, dude jumps like off the stage right to his fucking beelines it right to his merch table. I'm like, "Fuck, god damn it!" And so like because we had to pick up the equipment,
Yeah.
and get it all ready to go,
Right.
we couldn't like just go to the merch table, so we would have been like the last people in line.
Right. So you had to basically clean up. You never got to meet the dude.
But
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck this, I'm not standing in that line. And we went off to Bennigan's, our favorite watering hole back in college.
Yeah.
And who shows up a short while later?
Oh, Mr. Cook himself.
Mr. Dane Cook himself. And he was just kind of just like a dink.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. As you would expect.
I asked for an autograph and he was just kind of douchey about it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was just like, whatever. And it's funny because, like, well, I guess he didn't really need... Well, maybe he did need to do that. Like,
to be a dink?
No, he didn't need to be a dink. What he did need to do was not be a dink to his fans because now everybody fucking hates him. So maybe the people that were, like, big fans of his, that when they met him, he wasn't a dink,
right?
They might still be his fans. And then, you know, when he kind of went out of style...
Yeah.
And whatnot, and there was not allegations of him stealing.
Stocks.
No, that was Gallagher.
I know, but now he's going to be.
I imagine Dane Cook still makes a living, and he still can sell out.
But soon enough,
theater,
because he's a dink, he's going to be trading penny stocks in the background on some.
But I don't think Gallagher was ever
radio show.
I don't think Gallagher was ever a dink.
Oh, okay.
I think he just made the mistake.
You think a guy that smashes watermelons on people is not a dink?
He doesn't smash them on people. He smashes them, and then they eventually could end up on people.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, he encourages tarps. In fact, I think any sort of hardware store probably loves it when he comes to town.
Probably. Blue Man Group encouraged tarps. Actually, I think they handed out tarps when you would go to a Blue Man Group show. Oh, my goodness. I did not expect that reaction, that face when I said Blue Man Group.
I don't know. It's just, that's one of those things that, like, people were like, oh, you need to go to this. Well, people, not people that I, like, would associate with, like, but, like, well, not necessarily people that I would associate with, but just people that are older than me that I may be related to.
Yeah.
That think that it's the bee's knees.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good once. What I'll say is that I saw it back in the college days.
Saved by the Bell, the college years.
When the alarm gives out a warning.
But they had to change the theme song because it was college. Now we're in college now. I forget. No, I remember the theme. It was standing on the edge of tomorrow today.
Yeah, it was that. No, I saw Blue Man Group a couple of times in rapid succession. I can't remember which was first. My roommate had to go. I've probably told this story.
Had to go.
My roommate had to go because my roommate was nearly flunking out of a like a gen ed art course I should tell stories about my roommate if I haven't already.
That's like the people that were doing bad in my music appreciation class.
Oh, this was pretty much music appreciation, but like all the arts. To fail it, you really had to try hard.
You basically had to never show up, and basically that's it. That's like,
and the teacher was fucking awesome. He was great. So yeah. Anyway.
But that's usually the case with a class like that. That's like why like people are like they're ravenous to get into a course like that. Just like, I need a gen ed credit and I don't want to do anything.
Right.
But if I just show up to this place and say something weird or funny during class, maybe the professor will give me an A. Yeah. And that's usually the case.
Yeah. At any rate, he needed to go see a show because I think he'd missed all the opportunities on campus. So he sprung for the money, and he didn't have a car. I did. He sprung for the money for both of us to go see Blue Man Group.
Oh, wow.
And so
herky jerky in the back room. Is this when you were in your experimental phase?
No, it was not during the experimental phase. That was later. No herky jerky. So I saw it then, but I also around that time saw it in exchange for ushering for the show. That was a thing like poor college students and high school students could do at the time, was you could call them up, volunteer to usher for the show, and then you got to see the show for free.
By standing in the back?
No, you got a seat. You got a seat. Wow. And so I would think that's one of the ways it gained its popularity is a bunch of people who were just slightly older than you, like me, like 2 years older, were getting in for free to see the show over and over again by ushering, and they're like, I love this show. I didn't have to pay for it.
But the thing is, I'd rather work as an usher and get paid for that and not get to see a show for free a million times.
Yeah, you know.
Be like, I'm doing a really good job of ushering. You know what? Fuckhole. You could pay me some money. I didn't know what swear I wanted to use there. So,
for smaller time theater, I'm not saying that the Blue Man Group is smaller time theater, but for smaller time theater, like in Portsmouth, there were theaters I worked at where you could, if you weren't doing well, the ushers were a totally volunteer basis. They needed somebody to usher to tear tickets or whatever, and if you would volunteer to tear tickets, you could see a show for free.
Dude, so when I was in Yucko's wedding, I had to be an usher.
Yucko's modern life.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
No, it was Rocco's modern life.
Yeah.
I had to ush people.
Ush.
And like there was this no nonsense woman, like Southern woman that
she did not like to be ushed in the.
No. She was explaining to us what we needed to do.
Oh, okay.
And I was hungover and like a Weisenheimer, and she got like right in my face. She didn't want any of my bullshit.
She did not want to be ushed in the way that you were ushing.
Yeah, I was just grabbing her twat.
Well, you said she was right in your face.
What I was supposed to do was extend my arm and then bring the lady to her seat, regardless if she had a gentleman
not to her
with
knees.
her. Not to her knees, no. To her seat.
Yes.
And so
you're a semi-professional
here's
usher.
the trick. I wasn't supposed to ask them which side they were.
I think asking is important. I think permission is important.
No.
Ushing
I wasn't supposed to ask them which side they wanted to sit on. And so I was just supposed to somehow magically know if they were part of the groom's party or part of the bride's party.
Oh.
So most of the time I was supposed to converse with them. I was basically like a gentleman caller. I think
you were like something out of a Tennessee Williams play.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was supposed to chat them up before they were sitting down,
Specifically the
regardless
glass
if they had somebody behind us, the man behind us. So it was just weird and Southern and
yeah.
But so I was supposed to chat them up, and so
The man behind you wasn't ushing you.
No, he didn't put anything in my ush. Tush. So I'm supposed to. So I would most of the time ask them where they're from, and if they were like, "We're from blah blah blah, Bacalacanaka, Carolina," and I'm like, "Oh, then obviously you're on the bride's side."
Right.
And if you sound like Judd Hirsch from Independence Day, then you should be on the groom's side.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it. That makes sense. I think is he in
or if you sound like Boris Badenoff.
Is Judd Hirsch? That's a good question. I got to look that up. Is Judd Hirsch in Independence Day 2? Or
I think so. I hope so. He's still alive.
Hold on. Hey Siri, is Judd Hirsch in Independence Day Resurgence?
That's coming out this summer, right?
I don't even know.
Yeah, let me check on that.
Here's what I found on the web for a serious Judd Hirsch and Independence Day Resurgence.
Okay, so it is the name of it. I was unsure whether I even got it right. Independence Day Resurgence. He's on there. He's starring
Judd Hirsch.
Judd Hirsch, Liam Hemsworth, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Vivica A. Fox. Brent Spiner, which of course we've had that conversation.
Like, didn't he die?
I thought he was dead. Yeah, but apparently not.
Yeah,
Charlotte
it's like
Gainsbourg.
One Piece, no one dies.
Yeah. Angela Baby. That's somebody's name. All one word. Angela Baby.
Angela Baby. Let 'em hurry down the chimney tonight.
So you're at Yucko's wedding and you're ushering. Did we get through that story?
No. Yes, sure. I don't know.
I don't know if we got through that story.
But I wish I had gotten paid for that.
You wish. Oh, right. You wish you'd gotten paid to ush at Yucko's Modern Life. And I didn't get paid to go to usher at Blue Man Group, which you winced at because we were talking about comedy and Dane Cook and somewhere in the, I don't know. I can't.
You're trying to outline this?
I'm trying to.
You're going to try to do it now so you don't have to do it later? Like, oh, we did talk about all those things.
We did talk about that. I'm just trying to get back to what was the genesis of this conversation. And I want to say it was peanuts.
Peanuts?
Peanuts.
So apparently, we talked about
Because-
peanuts recently.
We did, and so here's the thing: we're now 20 minutes into the show or so, and before we started recording, we're like, let's start with email.
Instead, we started with a 20-minute conversation about I don't know what.
I don't know what? Because we did talk about peanuts.
You're like, we only have 3 things on the list. Will we have enough to talk about?
You're jinxing us because it's just 20 minutes. I don't know if we're not there yet, but we were going to
It's
start
a
off.
third of the fucking show.
I know, but we could go through these next couple of things in like no time flat. From the home office in Wahoo, Nebraska. No, it's not a top 10 list. It was Wahoo, Nebraska.
I don't
I
remember.
think that's what Letterman did. On the radio show I did with my roommate back in the day, we did a top 10.5 list.
What was the 0.5?
It was just an 11th thing. We were trying to be Letterman without being Letterman, and he didn't think I was very funny.
Who?
My roommate, and so he wrote most of the lists, and I just helped.
And
do
he
it.
also didn't pass his remedial art course.
Yes, he also did not pass his senior project twice, so he had to transfer out of the university because you were only allowed to take any course twice. And he needed to pass senior project to graduate, so he failed senior project twice, which meant he couldn't graduate from our college.
How do you fail? Basically, we had a seminar in communication arts, basically,
Right.
as our last course we had to take.
Yeah.
And that was one of the last courses I took,
Right.
surprisingly enough. And it was probably one of the easiest courses I've ever taken in my life.
I don't know how you fail it. I don't.
Because it's basically it was just us getting together and talking every day.
Yeah.
So it was one of those if you show up and participate in conversations like you would communicate,
Yes.
like you would learn how to communicate with other people.
Demonstrate your communication skills.
Yes, and if you were able to do that, then you got a grade.
You got
that
a
was
grade.
good.
You got a passing grade. Yeah. I don't know. My roommate when he came to the college we went to, he had already been to at least one, maybe 2 other colleges before that. He came in. He was in his early to mid 20s, and he'd been to a couple of colleges.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, and I had nothing. I had no problem with that. I was actually it was
It was
oddly-
encouraging that someone can take a number of years off
Yeah.
and still possibly get their degree.
Yeah,
a la Steve Woodbury.
Right. It was oddly comforting to have that person as a roommate, and we got along and whatever. But yeah, that he couldn't pass his senior. At least that's what I heard. I've long since lost touch with him. But
You should reach out and say, listen to the show where we bash you.
yeah, I don't think I want him listening to anything that I do. I think I've probably
I'll be like, you're still not funny.
yeah, that's true. But he and I probably
You sound like that too.
he was on the debate team. And
I
so
heard
he
a
got-
thing about debate, on one of the podcasts that I listened to.
Yeah.
And it was, I understand, it was minority students participating in debate. It was about that. And,
Yeah.
and I understand their gripe with what they were talking about. Because
Right.
a lot of what debate is doing shitloads of research
Right,
on
right.
whatever topic it is and then talking really fast.
So this show is not like debate at all.
No, this is
We
the
don't
exact
know.
opposite of debate. We do no research. We drink alcohol, and we
Maybe one day we'll do it. We'll do a show where we don't drink and we've done tons of research just to see what happens.
we'll just research a bunch of topics and just talk have a debate about it.
Have a debate about it. Yeah.
I'm going to talk really fast about it, and that's basically what it is. And then the minority students that didn't have necessarily the resources,
Yeah.
that their white counterparts did. They're like, okay, well, we can never win these debates because we don't have we apparently, we don't have if we don't have the resources, we can't really compete on that level.
Right,
So
yeah.
basically they changed the debate and started talking about how the state of debate
Are you
is
saying
bullshit.
they went horribly off topic?
They went off. Well, they went off topic, but not horribly because they're still
Okay.
talking about debate.
But going back to what we started off talking about, there's a range of possible interpretations for the word horribly. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So somebody could have easily said that they took the debate horribly off topic.
Horribly.
So, but the thing is, I
Meaning
can
literally.
understand coming from the other side. We put all this work in to to research this subject, and now you've changed the conversation.
Right.
And now we have to basically be on the fly.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, it was an interesting podcast. I forget. I think it might have been Radiolab or This American Life or something like that. So I'd recommend listening to it. It was interesting.
Did they have a debate about peanuts as nuts versus peanuts as legumes?
No, they didn't, because they made the debate about the debate.
Because there's not really anything to debate there. Like, it's, you know, that's...
You made it about peanuts.
But what I'm saying is peanuts are not nuts.
They're legumes.
They are legumes. These are the words of our frequent emailer and full-time listener. I don't know what that
full-time listener.
Full-time listener.
We should be paying him.
Brian, who wrote to us with the subject line "Peanuts and Bono," and of course the first line of that was "Peanuts are not nuts; they are legumes," which I thought I remembered saying, but maybe it was stuck in my head.
I've said it on many occasions before, but
out.
I guess I didn't feel like it.
Yeah, you didn't feel like bringing it up.
You're a legume.
You're a legume. Peanuts are not nuts; they are legumes, writes Brian. And then Brian goes on to say, I am also going to try and beat Leo to this. But it's once, doce, trece, catorce, not uno, dos, tres, catorce. I'm not a U2 fan, but I know those are the lyrics because of Leo.
Okay.
More on that in a moment.
Interesting.
Also, it's the music of AC/DC, so it made my skin crawl when you started to mouth musicking Back in Black.
Thunderstruck! Sorry. Well, that wasn't the music part.
No, it wasn't.
You probably still hated it.
Probably still hated it. Yeah. All right. So now we know that that we should not, on our anniversary show, pull out the full a cappella version of whatever. I can't remember what song it was that we did. Was it Back in Black that we did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't break that out, or we might lose Brian.
Yeah, I don't want to lose Brian.
Don't want to lose Brian. We got another email.
Oh, you did?
We did.
Shortly afterwards, actually.
Shortly afterwards. This email came from Leo, friend of the show, Leo, with the subject, eating crow.
Ah.
Interesting. Well, so without having read this, Steve, because you haven't read it yet, right?
No. I never read these ones that you send to me a couple of days before the show.
What would you imagine Leo is writing us to eat crow about? It's been a while since he wrote to us the last time, so...
I don't know. Maybe he's eating crow in
eating
some weird,
crow like
some weird foreign country where they
like
serve
in that
crow.
episode of what the hell is that show?
Game of Thrones?
No, but like that. The Tudors. The Tudors, which is like
fart.
Yes. Sir Edmund Tudor. He was in the pre-Elizabethan period. I don't know what that period was called. He was well known for his flatulence.
And he was married to.
There were the War of the Tudors.
Who was he married to though?
He was married to Elizabeth of Fart. No, that's trying to fuck it. I can't.
She was very good at the Queef though.
Make a War of the Roses joke. Yeah, Elizabeth of Queef.
Elizabeth of Queef.
So
Can we call the show that?
Yes, we can. I don't think there's any debate. We'll see. We've still got
Well,
half the show
I
left.
need to change the subject about the debate to the debate.
So there was an episode of the Tudors where Henry eats. Is it? What the hell is he? He eats. He doesn't eat crow.
There was like a crow pie that they had in Game of Thrones as well.
There was one in this show too. But he whatever it is that he eats, he digs into it, and it's I believe he's feasting on it as, I don't know if it's, which wife is dying at this point. He's feasting on it.
Elizabeth of Queef.
No, it was his mom or his grandma. Or his grandma was Elizabeth of Queef. His wives were
Don't even try. Just keep going.
Bo fartin. No. Yeah. So, okay. So here's Leo's email, eating crow. It says, okay, I will admit that I was eager to pounce on this one. I was quite certain that the opening of the U2 song mentioned in last week's episode, Vertigo is the title, by the way, was once, doce, trece, catorce, 11, 12, 13, 14 in Spanish. However, However, after doing some fact checking, I found that Chris is 100% right.
For the first time ever.
The lyrics are Spanish for 1, 2, 3, 14. When questioned about this by Rolling Stone, Bono replied, quote, "There may have been some alcohol involved," unquote. So there you have it.
Well, cheers, Bono.
A shit-faced Bono is responsible for this question that has been bugging you all these years. Enjoy your moment in the sun, Chris. You were on the money this time. Till the next time you butcher something. So...
The thing is, Captain Research himself.
He's being a great librarian, Leo.
Yeah.
Captain Research.
You guys should research more.
You guys should. You know what, Leo? You did such great research. I want you to write into us and tell us all about Elizabeth of Queef and all the things we got wrong.
Yes, please.
About
the things that
her
we were saying
in the Tudor Rose.
Well, you actually know about this because you watched this fictional television show.
Yes, highly fictional. I have friends who who actually are students of
history.
Of history.
Wow.
And they cringed when I told them I was really into the Tudors, and I was like, I know it's not accurate.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like, what was there somebody jotting notes down? Like, oh, this will make a great TV show 100 years from now.
Yeah, let's do that instead.
I mean, 200, 300, what year was it? Did it take place?
What year, when was that? We're talking...
1800s?
No, 1500s.
1500s. So this will be a great TV show 500 years from now.
Yeah.
I'm taking as many notes as possible.
For shizzle.
They're like, but how do they even know that TV would exist?
Maybe they knew that the theater existed and they extrapolated that maybe someday there'll be theater that can be...
Of the mind.
Theater of the mind. That's the radio.
I was watching some of Dice Clay's show on Showtime.
I was trying to come up with a Dice Clay impression.
Oh! There was this the second episode, which
Hickory dickory dock.
It's not spectacular, but it's very Dice. Like you can tell that it's
like casual sex Dice.
He's very
love that fucking movie.
Very much playing himself. Well, what about Ford Fairlane?
Never saw that one.
Oh, you need to watch
Ford Fairlane didn't have Leah Thompson in it. You know, did she show boobs in that one? In casual
Ford
sex?
Fairlane?
No.
I don't know.
I don't think she.
Okay,
did.
so
I think everyone else showed boobs.
So he's very much playing himself. It's sort of a Louis-esque show where he's
Louis Anderson?
No, Louis C.K.
Oh. Louis Black. You shouldn't have given me the cider.
You're not even had half of it yet. Is there most of it left?
No.
Is there
about
like
half.
a sip left?
No.
So yeah, it's very much like that. But there's this particular episode is Adrian Brody, the actor
with Dice.
Yeah, he's
interesting.
He shows up and he's like, I'm a method actor. I'm supposed to play you. I need to know how play dice. And like Adrian Brody did such a good Dice Clay. It was fucking spectacular. It's the second episode. If you have the opportunity to see this, I don't want to like spoil it or anything like that. But I mean, I've already spoiled it by showing. You know, I'm just saying the premise.
You're giving the premise.
Here's the premise. Watch it. It's really great.
Yeah, I don't believe in spoilers anyway.
Okay, well, whatever. But it's really like the rest of the show is but that particular episode, that particular episode, episode 2 of Dice Clay's show, I'd say top notch.
How like a recent show?
It came out this last season.
Oh, interesting.
It was only a 6-episode run.
Yeah, not on ABC. I hope they canceled all their TV shows.
Showtime.
Okay, all right.
Mother.
I'm just saying.
Your Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still on.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still on, but they canceled Agent Carter and they canceled their in development spin-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What was that going to be called?
That was going to be called Marvel's Most Wanted. And they canceled development on that.
Was it about the Inhumans?
It was not about the Inhumans. It was about.
Are they saying Inhumans because like mutants are like an X-Men thing and Fox?
No, Inhumans are an actual thing in the Marvel universe.
Okay, maybe I just didn't read that much into it.
No, yeah, that's it. In recent years, they have tried to use the Inhumans as they tried to once Disney bought the company, right, and they realized they weren't getting the mutant rights back from getting the mutant rights back from Fox, they tried in the comics to start building up the Inhumans as a kind of non-X-Men X-Men. And that's what they've been working with on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's actually a whole other Inhumans thing that existed in the classic era that they haven't really touched yet. At any rate, not just Marvel stuff. ABC canceled a whole bunch of shows, so much so that people on the internet was like, what is ABC going to have on TV? Because I think Castle is on ABC.
Oh,
that was
right.
canceled.
No.
Lots of ABC stuff canceled.
What about Once Upon a Time?
I don't think they have canceled that piece of shit yet.
Oh. Becky, that's one of her guilty pleasures.
I'm just kidding. It's not that bad.
Yes, it is.
Well,
I have sat and half watched some of it, and I'm just like, gah.
It's like, I thought I would like that show because I loved Lost, and two of the people who were on Lost in the writers' room created Once Upon a Time.
But it's just, it's so hokey, and they're just like, the
it's-
good guys are the bad guys, and vice versa.
Well,
and
I feel like
God.
it only has one or two season-length plots, and it just recycles them with different configurations of characters.
I've only watched like maybe a half a dozen episodes,
Yeah.
if that, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I kind of half watched the first.
But I understand.
couple
I understand
seasons,
it being a
and-
guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's got
Right.
like interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
Although fucking nonsense.
Yeah,
It's
and-
interesting, I guess.
Although it could have been, so much better. And what I would point to, if people are even moderately interested in comics and graphic novels, is this series called Fables, which came out. I think it ended right around the time that Once Upon a Time came on the air, or maybe a couple seasons into Once Upon a Time being on the air. And Fables was almost the same concept. All of the fairy tale characters had been exiled from fairy tale land into the real world, and
in Maine.
not in Maine.
Oh,
They were in New York. And a
Hey,
farm,
I'm in New York.
and on a farm upstate. But it was a really good series. I followed it for 60, 70 issues or whatnot until finances made me stop. And it has all the charm of Once Upon a Time with none of the hokiness.
Maybe the hokiness is part of its charm. Chris.
Maybe.
What else is on the list?
What
What happened to your fucking
my
phone?
phone? I put it down there. I don't know. I was trying to get away.
I can't see the list if it's down there.
Well, so there's two. You did something and I did something this week.
I want to hear about your something,
You wanna
because
do-
I already told you about my something
Right.
a little bit.
A little bit, but the audience hasn't heard about you.
Okay, well, I'll tell. Do you want me to start?
No. I'm happy to go. I'm just saying I hope we're not going to skip over your something because it sounded interesting. I'm happy to go first.
All right, so I'm going in blind here. You better not fuck me.
All right. So I a couple weeks ago I got an email from Jetpack Comics.
Jetpack Comics.
Jetpack Comics in beautiful downtown Rochester, New Hampshire.
Rochester, New York.
New Hampshire.
The home of Brother Weeze in the morning.
Is that a real thing?
I think so.
No. All right. Well, so Jetpack was having this buy-a-thon was what they called it. And they say, bring us your crap that you don't want. And they were promoting it heavily on social media. And what was great about it was for years, I've had
Crap.
a shit ton of comic books. I just mentioned I read that series Fables. I read a lot of comics, like a fucking lot of comics. I spent all my money.
You don't have to drop F-bombs in between comics.
I gave up my paper route to work at the comic book store because they
Hot Comics?
hot comics. And they paid me in comic books, essentially. Because all the money that I would have made cost me what my comics cost me. So I basically I worked for comics for a couple of months until they decided that my friendship was more valuable to them than our working relationship, and they fired me. At which point, a couple months later,
do you know what Jerry, was it Jerry?
it was Jerry.
Jerry and what was the
Diane.
Diane. I was going to say Diane. Do you know what Jerry and Diane from Hot Comics are up to nowadays?
I kept track of them for a little while, but no, I don't know what they're up to.
They're not on your social media
No, there's a bit of falling out.
Oh, you guys have
A little bit.
Yeah, did it come to blows?
No, I don't think it came. Not those kind of blows either. At any rate, so I bought a shit.
I ran into Jerry.
Did you really?
Like at the Pheasant Lane Mall back in the early aughts.
Yes, that was one of the reasons I stopped going to the Pheasant Lane Mall, because I did not want to bump into him.
He was like working at a watch shop or something like that.
He was. It was not pleasant when I bumped into him. I
want to know what happened. What happened between you guys? And
I don't want to. There's a possibility
there's no way that he. I mean,
I guess we betrayed him in some way.
You did.
Yes.
Who?
Those of us who. So me and John, not my brother.
John.
And Ken and all the kind of teenagers who hung out there. There was a falling out.
I guess we were too young to be those teenagers.
But without getting into specifics, because I don't want to get into. There was a falling out between him and Diane, and I'll leave it at that. And
was it Ken? Did Ken get in there?
Anyway, we all kind of sided with her for reasons I don't want to get into because it's private. And that was considered a betrayal on his part, and so I didn't want to be
fucking Godfather.
I didn't want to be anywhere near.
He's the Godfather of hot comics.
And then later on, we talked a couple of times. I saw him on the train once, and everything seemed okay, but it's not.
There's no love lost. You should try to reach out, like.
I don't
try
know
to mend some bridges there.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea. But
I think it's a great idea. Maybe we could have him on the show, talk about all these hot comics he used to sell.
I bought a shit ton of comics. I collected comics in the 1990s.
When a great job where you changed the subject.
When everything was going to be worth $1 million, and you were supposed to buy like 6 copies of it. So I had. And I eventually learned that was not true, and that law of supply and demand, like none of us were thinking about that because everyone was supposed to buy like 6 copies, and everyone did buy 6 copies, so they printed millions of copies of these things, and then none of it was worth anything because everyone that might possibly want one already had 6 copies of it.
I mean, you got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all.
So that's where like magic cards, like they figured it out. Like they figured out like. How to keep your base continuously buying new cards because like the way they have tournaments run nowadays is they have like this is a standard deck and it's like the last 2 like yearly versions of the
right. You can't use anything that's really old.
Yeah, I mean, but they have some tournaments that are like. It's called, but there's modern, which is a larger bubble, but not quite everything. And I think legacy, I think, is like everything except for like the cards that have been banned.
Oh, okay.
Well, because they're like,
I know if you use
these cards, you're basically you win.
Yeah. And I collected those too. I still have a box, I think, of Magic cards somewhere.
I've played way more recently than you have, but I gave up.
I think probably most of mine are not. There's probably some banned ones, and most of them are.
If you have like a Black Lotus, you need to fucking sell that shit.
I'll see if I can find it.
Probably buy a new house with that.
So anyway, I bought a lot of comics. Even after the 90s, I continued to buy a shit ton of comics at various stores. But I ended up, over the last couple of years, I had 10 boxes. I had 10 long boxes of comics, which are a lot of fucking comics.
Were they in the garage?
They were not in the garage. They were in my closet. So when we moved back into my parents' house, my comics ended up in pretty much the same place that they were when I was a teenager, which was in the closet of my old bedroom. And the trouble was there are some comics I would like to reread, but most of the things I wanted nothing to do with. So I kept looking at various places. I was like, all right, who will take these? And every place you'd ask had this really runaround answer because understandably, most of them don't want this shit.
Because they're never going to be able to sell.
They're never going to be able to get rid of it, and they don't.
Early '90s, like fucking mass-produced bullshit comics. Unless some of them are like millions of them are getting destroyed in landfills.
Right.
They're not worth diddly squat.
Yeah. And most of them don't. Most of the stores, like independent bookstores, a lot of comic stores have shut down, and if not shut down, they've condensed their space, so they don't have the footprint to store a bunch of this stuff. But this place, Jetpack, is one of the biggest comic stores in the sort of seacoast New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire area, and they have the space. And they were very plain. They're like, bring us as many fucking comics as you want. So I had this on my calendar. I was like, we're going to bring a bunch of these comics. And I reduced my stash from 10 boxes to 3.5 boxes. And I took the I can't do math. Is that 6.5 or 5.5? Took the 6.5 boxes to Jetpack yesterday, and sold them to.
Did you have your young daughters carry them for you?
I did not. But that was only part of our day. So my day began with selling comic books.
Did you get like a decent amount of cash, or?
Based on what they had said on their website, most long boxes were worth. I actually got a decent deal. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got more. I got a significant amount more than what they were sort of leading me to believe I might get, just based on what they said on the site. And I think they underplay on the site how much you get, because people go in there thinking that their stuff is worth a lot more than it actually is.
Yeah.
And so I went and I was like, look,
my stuff's worthless here.
Here's my stuff. If you want to give me some money, awesome.
Because you've basically instant yard sale.
Yeah. And now I've got 3.5 boxes, and I can get to the stuff, and I can reread the things
that you really want.
Yeah, and there's this great series that was.
I mean, 3 boxes. That's way more than I have. So
there's this great series called Bone that's kid appropriate, and I know it doesn't sound kid appropriate, but it's called
Bone. It has
Bone.
nothing to do with intercourse.
No, it does not. Cute cartoon characters. And my kids have wanted to read it for years, and I said, I'll try to get it out of the 10 boxes, and now it's there. But that was just the beginning of the day, and now I feel like I've taken up too much time, but we still got time.
We can go long, whatever.
And so the second half of the day was something that Stephanie really wanted to do, that I was kind of like, I don't know, because
I want to go, and once you mention it, I'll say what I want to go to. But
my brother used to go to one of these kinds of things fairly frequently, the big one. I went to the New Hampshire Renaissance Fair.
Woo! And what I want to do, and I've gone as recently as a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
To King Richard's Fair, which happens in the late summer, late summer, and then the fall.
Yeah.
In I think south of the city.
Is it Sterling?
Sterling, Mass.
Maybe I don't. It's
south of the city.
West of the city. I think. Yeah.
But not significantly.
Not really west. Yeah. So you maybe just south. Yeah.
I think it's south of the city. So it's fun. If you have money, it's fun.
Yeah. Well,
if you don't have any money, don't go to King Richard's Fair, because you're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to fucking drink the giant beers.
Yeah. That was the thing that my first impression about the Renaissance Fair.
Obviously, if you don't have money, you shouldn't buy tickets to a thing that you actually have to buy more things.
But
if you have disposable income, this is the kind of thing you want.
And we don't. We really don't. But Stephanie really wanted to go, and her sister wanted to go. And Kaylee, my older daughter, was interested. My younger daughter couldn't really have cared less, and spent the entire time saying, "I want to go home." And I'm not kidding. You know, like that's a joke. There's a joke we sort of throw around about kids. It's like, can we leave yet? Can we? No, she spent like, maybe there was like a minute long pause between each of her "can we go home" fits, and I was mostly trying to take care of that because I wanted Stephanie and Kaylee to be able to enjoy it.
Actually have a good time. Yeah. That's very nice of you.
I was trying, but it was very overwhelming after a while. So obviously not
So basically you should have just like, here's a yard of beer, which is bigger than you. Drink it all, and then you won't care that you're at the Renaissance Fair anymore.
Walking in, so it cost us $40 for the 4 of us to get in.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but that's
like each at King Richard's Fair.
This is not. I mean, I haven't been to King Richard's Fair, but this is not a King Richard's Fair size thing. It basically.
I remember going to King Richard's Fair with your brother back in back when we were teenagers,
right?
And being like, this sucks because we couldn't we paid the admission, but then we got maybe a couple of tickets so we can get some food,
right?
And obviously we couldn't drink at the time,
right?
And it was everything cost money except for some of the shows, like the joust and it's I think the muddy buddies. I forget what the fuck it was.
Yeah. They were ushing each other in the mud.
They were ushing each other in the mud.
But that was the impression once I walked in. Yeah, 40 didn't seem that bad for 4 people. It's $12 for adults, $8 for kids. But then then you walked in, there was the jousting. They had a jousting area. We eventually found an area where they had like a sword fight happening.
Oh, sword fights.
Sword fights, yeah. But most of it was just people in booths selling their shit and
Peddling their
wares, which was not badly done stuff. It was all quality stuff, and they were charging reasonable prices for it. But I tried to imagine where you would wear any of these things
when you go to the Ren Fair.
Which you go
for
to
next year.
Which you go to once a year. So you're buying all this shit and you wear it once a year. I feel like if Ren Fair kind of stuff is your lifestyle, then probably you're better off learning how to make it yourself and like really getting into the lifestyle. Like I feel like if you go to a Ren Fair and you buy all the shit, you would be better off just like really diving in deep and being like, all right, I'm going to learn how to make my own fucking clothes.
Like you're promoting people that are doing stuff that you enjoy.
Sure. And that's why I say they were not charging exorbitant prices. These were skilled craftspeople selling their, as you say, peddling their wares.
Yeah, that's very PC of you, craftspeople.
And crafts beings. How long to wear at that?
Crafts humans.
People, no.
These aren't made by dogs, I swear.
You're not being dog inclusive here. Craft beings.
Craft beings. Well, there could be some sort of microbial like effect on what they're making.
Yeah.
So and they're not necessarily beings. So craft organisms.
Crafts organisms. Yes.
That's actually a pretty good episode title, too.
At any rate, so yeah, we wandered around.
It has less queef in it. So it might be better for the just passerby listener to just be like, oh, this doesn't say queef. I don't know.
I think you might want to, this episode, you might want to just put the label right on the tin. Just get it right out there.
Okay.
There's queef.
I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, so we wandered around a bit, and it was... it was decent, and Kaylee found, they each got a couple charms and things, because we didn't bring a ton of extra money, because we don't have a ton of extra money. But half, it wasn't what I imagined King Richard's Fair was like back in the day, where I imagined, and maybe this is not what it was like, I imagined whenever I'd hear about you guys going, that people were all dressed up.
We only went once.
Okay.
And we weren't dressed up.
But were most of the people dressed up?
We did the LARPing.
Okay.
Did we talk about LARPing before?
No, but I don't know if we should get into LARPing now.
Let's not getting into LARPing now.
We should save that for another
Anybody show. that's listened to the show at any sort of frequency and wants to hear about me and talking about when John and I LARPed back in 1995.
Which is not a euphemism.
Yes. Oh, we did talk about it because
okay.
On the way to Narrow, which was in Hardwick, Massachusetts.
Okay.
I remember your dad gave us a ride, and you were sitting in the front, and John and I were in the back, and the song "Now You're Messing with the Son of a Bitch" was on the radio.
We did talk about that.
And you occasionally turned around and right to me, like lip sync the song, the lyrics "Son of a bitch." And it's like etched in my memory. Like I can't not like there's like an important piece of information that I can't remember because I can't forget that face that you made.
Oh, at any rate, I don't think there's anything more for me to say about the rent. Oh, that not as many people were dressed up, but there were people dressed up, and I think lots of corsets, lots of dudes dressed as.
Were there buxom ladies?
Okay, so I'll skip the rest of it, which is dudes dressed as pirates and dudes dressed as monks and all sorts of stuff. There was one woman working a booth near where we sat down to have lunch, and the corset and whatever was so tight, and I swear that her breasts were tickling her chin. Like they were just like I could not understand how she could breathe, first of all, but second of all, like I don't understand how they weren't popping out. Like they were
you were like
pushed up, and the neckline was so low that I was like, what is happening?
Just wanted to say nice nips, lady.
No, you didn't, because you didn't see them.
They were close.
They were close. I couldn't understand what was happening.
Grab them because you were with your wife.
No, I didn't. I didn't even want to.
I just snorted.
So there were lots of corsets, as you'd expect, but this one particular woman, I was like, that just looks so uncomfortable. I don't understand.
I don't imagine they're comfortable for anybody, regardless of how buxom they are.
No, but this looked nuts. There were no nuts. It looked crazy.
Were there legumes?
All right, so that's enough of my story. So I at the end of the day, I tweeted out, I was like, so I sold comics this morning. I went to the Ren Fair this afternoon. Where are my cheese balls and my dice bag and my
dice bag? Oh.
So we're at 56 or so. Do you want to tell us about what you...
I want to... Okay, so...
Because we still have a little bit of time for you to tell us about what you did.
We went to Pinball Wizard yesterday. And, every quarter or so, I need to get up there and play some pinball. I actually did much better than I usually do.
Every quarter. No pun intended.
There was a pun intended. So we went up there, but prior to, we went to one of my favorite dive bars, which is McGuire's Tavern in Drake, Massachusetts. It's right at the end of at one end of a giant like strip mall.
Okay.
And there's actually a new place at the other end. We're like, oh, maybe we should check that out next time.
Yeah.
So next time we'll check out that. But McGuire's is just like there's just regular people there.
Yeah.
Drinking, and they have cheap PBR or whatever, and they had like a burger special that was gross, but whatever. I ate it because I was fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And Becky got a hot dog because she'd been wanting a hot dog for a while, and don't you dare innuendo here.
I wasn't gonna say it. Wasn't even thinking about it until you put it in my head.
No. So she just because like we have some in the freezer because we bought them a while ago, and we're like, fuck, we need to put these in the freezer because we haven't eaten them yet. And but it's like a package of 5, and I forget which comedian did the bit where it's like, I fucking have a package of 5 hot dogs but 8 buns.
Steve Martin in Father of the Bride.
Okay, thank you. I think it was Becky that actually said that yesterday when we were talking about hot dogs.
Right.
And there was this guy, and if people want to like prevent drunk driving, they should go to these. They should go to these little dive bars every once in a while, and then just fucking say, okay, we're gonna put you in the drunk tank. Don't drive a car.
Yeah.
Like if they actually gave any sort of shit about public safety, and not about fucking squeezing like the cash out of people for like being over the limit, then fucking they would be in every single one of these bars every fucking night. Because like this dude that was like sitting next to us, like he pretended to like drink a bottle of ketchup for a second.
Oh gosh.
He slammed it down on the counter, and it just slid off and then crashed on the floor. And he was just hammered, and he's probably going to drive home. And it's just like, okay.
Drunk on high 57.
Yes, he was drunk on ketchup. He didn't actually have any alcohol, which was weird.
That was a little weird.
So but I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. So we left, and like he was actually outside having a cigarette as we were leaving, and Becky goes, "Don't get caught." And he goes, "What?" I'm like, dude, you know what we're talking about. Jesus Christ, buddy.
Yeah.
Either hang out and sober up or fucking don't drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were there, and I was like, there's this place up the road. I'm like, we apparently haven't been at the diviest place.
Oh no.
And there's a place up the road there. I think it's in Massachusetts still, but it might actually be in Pelham.
Over the border.
I think it actually is in Pelham. Pelham, New Hampshire. It's called Grand 38 because it's on Route 38.
Yeah.
In Pelham, New Hampshire. So go to these places if you're in the area and experience what we experienced, which was one of the shittiest Mai Tais I've ever drank in my life. And like I've been to this place before because I used to live in Lowell, right on the Drake line.
Right.
And so like I would go up there
Yeah.
occasionally and have
And you just needed Becky to experience
I needed her to experience at least half
of the shittiest Mai Tai you've ever-
No. Half of like, because like the food is terrible too.
Oh, okay.
The food is terrible too, but like we got the shittiest Mai Tai this time. So I don't know. Maybe some other time we'll return and get like the shittiest Chinese food as well.
Yeah.
But it was just garbage. I think she Instagrammed about it.
I think I saw that.
But it was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I drank. I'm stuffed up a little bit because of allergies. Because it's spring has sprung.
May
in New England, in lovely New England. We have lots of beautiful vegetation growing, but also
getting local for it.
All the tree jizz that's falling off all these trees that are blooming is making my head explode. So we were leaving.
Yes.
After I drank most of both of them.
Yeah.
Because
you don't care if it's shitty.
I can't taste. No, I couldn't taste because I can't smell.
Got it.
And so I'm like, whatever, it's booze. I'm just gonna drink it. And so we left. And as we're leaving, we got into the car, and I didn't have my phone out, but Becky did. And there was this woman walking up.
Was she wearing a corset?
She was not wearing a corset, but she might have benefited by wearing something along those lines. But she was not in any way overweight. But she somehow, with the outfit that she chose, had a muffin top. And if anybody that's unfamiliar with that is when you're wearing something that's kind of pushing everything up, like everything I ever wear because I have a nice little love handles and gut.
I've always wondered what the difference between like a muffin top and love handles is, or is there a difference?
I don't think. Well, yeah, I think it's derogatory towards women.
Got it. Okay.
Because it's dad bod when when it's
double standards.
Yeah, double standards. Men can be fat and whatever, but women.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yes, everybody can be fat, so fuck off. So she looked like when we were driving away, we were trying to determine the age of this person. And Becky was saying that she was in her 60s. Okay. And I said, no, she's probably in her 50s and is a prostitute and has been ravaged by time.
Yeah.
And STDs or wherever else.
Yeah, time's not a good tip.
I imagine that she would have sat at the bar. So if we just stuck around for just maybe 10, maybe 15 more minutes, we would have seen this up close.
Yeah. Seen her proposition someone or be propositioned?
I'm assuming she propositioned someone who no longer can see.
Okay. Can't see that.
And shouldn't be driving anyway. So hopefully she'll suck the sobriety out of them.
Blow the sobriety back into
Blow the sobriety back into them, yes. That makes more sense than what I said.
She's turned from suck to blow.
Mega Maid. We were actually watching Spaceballs recently.
Really? Does it hold up?
I still like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
They're like the Men in Tights, I'm like, it's okay. And then the Mel Brooks movies after that,
not so much. Yeah.
But Spaceballs, I think I just have too much of a special place in my heart for
me
it.
Too.
I mean, I'm sure there's like kids these days that are like, oh, this is dumb. But like Rick Moranis, like as the role of Dark Helmet
for life, man.
Like during like a scene of exposition, he turns to the camera. Did you get all that?
Yeah, it's. I think I would still enjoy it if I returned to it these days.
Like it's the delivery of lines that is like the parts like Colonel Sanders. Oh wait, no, he's like, "What's wrong, Colonel Sanders? Chicken." And they're like, when they're going ludicrous speed.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Stop this thing," and then he's like, "We can't stop. It's too dangerous. We've got to slow down first." I don't know why that line makes me laugh more than anything else, because there's nothing particularally funny about any of the things he's saying, but it's the way he says the line. It just makes me fucking laugh so hard.
It's what a good comedian can do.
So hard.
So fucking hard, dude.
So we should you should put the guy that played Colonel Sanders in the show notes.
Oh, I gotta look that up. Good old Colonel Sanders. I think it's Norm Macdonald.
No, Colonel Sanders from the movie Spaceballs. It was Norm Macdonald. Then it was Jeff
Bridges.
No,
Goldblum.
Jim Gaffigan.
Jeff
Gaffigan.
Not a Jeff at all.
And they also had what's his butt? The other guy.
I'm a fan of his. Yeah, what's his butt? And Amanda, what was her name? Amanda Baby?
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
No, this is Angela Baby.
Angela Baby, now hurry down the chimney tonight.
You can find the show notes for this episode at hot.clarkwoods.com. No, clarkwoods.com/hot/94.
That'll give you everything that you need to know about everything that we just said. Everything.
Everything.
Say everything again. They speak English and everything.
And if you'd like to send us corrections or comments, you can send those to hot@clarkwoods.com.
That is our email.
Or send them on Twitter at ECC1977. That's me.
Or at OPTC Spam69. Oh, wait, no. I mean... At Tuesday is loser. That's Tuesday is loser. All one word.
All one word.
I really wish that we could get all one word as our Twitter handle.
We looked that up once, didn't we?
It's an egg guy. He doesn't even fucking have like a real.
If he or she or they accept direct messages, you can ask them. You can send them, and you can say.
Give your fucking Twitter handle.
All one word to us.
Yes, so we can be that guy that has the all one word Twitter handle.
To be that guy.
I'm always that guy.
You're always that guy.
Or sometimes I'm not that guy.
Sometimes.